Hi there. I hope everyone had a great record store day recently. I didn't participate in the event, but I did peruse the list of vinyl that was available for this year, and it was really impressive and exciting. I recognized a couple of LPs that I had in my collection that was being reissued for record store day, so that was fun to see. The list was pretty good, and there was one record I thought, I would love to get it, but I wasn't really prepared to get in a queue in the middle of the night, in the wee hours of the morning at a record shop. I just wasn't keen to do that. I prefer not to shop in crowds. I feel more comfortable when, the atmosphere is a little bit more chilled. So I consciously didn't participate in record store day. So a couple of days after the event, I popped into my local record store in the neighborhood just to check out what they had on offer, what was left. And to my amazement, that one vinyl that I saw in the long list of 2023 Record Store Day releases, I saw a copy. In fact, it was the last copy, and I couldn't believe my eyes. So this is the record that I'm talking about. It's Shazera Avora, Radio Mindelo. And she's a Cape Verdean singer. This is the one that stood out for me when I was perusing the list. And I thought for sure that her vinyl would be gone because it's a limited edition. So I was so surprised to see it at my local record shop. So I didn't think twice. I picked it up, and it was the last copy. So I'm really pleased about that. So this is it. It's a double LP. And it's basically the recordings of her early songs that she sung for a radio station. And it was the first time they've actually produced this in vinyl. They actually released the CD. I read some reviews about the CD, and some people were quite critical. Don't waste your money, don't buy the CD, because her voice wasn't very developed and it's not what it is, later on, and so forth. So I was a bit reluctant, but then I thought, the joy is in the journey, isn't it? And I'm thinking, it's great that, she had this talent, and it was obviously recognized that this radio station wanted to, record the songs and feature it, to broadcast it. So, she's from Cape Verde, the radio station's in Cape Verde, and this is early 1960s recordings. And it's quite nice. You see the back there, it's 2 LP. I'll show you the vinyl, kind of berry colored vinyl there. Do you see? Purple. And it came with a 4-page kind of booklet. So that's the front. That's the back. Some really interesting liner notes. Some old photos. So there you go. I'm really looking forward to reading this properly. I thought the booklet could have been more substantial because her career is incredible, and she actually came to the international stage's attention in the 1990s, really. So that was my only record store day purchase, but after the fact. So I'm going to go in reverse now. So this is why my video is called My Record Store Day in Reverse. So while I was at my local record shop, I noticed that they actually had a bin that said clearance, RSD clearance. And I thought, wow, okay, I'm gonna check it out and see what's in there. I didn't really think there would be anything of interest for me. To my amazement, I saw this. This is America Alternates and Rarities. It says unreleased tracks from the vaults 1971 to 1976. So it's got all the hits on here, but different versions like Sister Golden Hair, Ventura Highway, Lonely People, I Need You, A Horse with No Name. And it's a limited edition on soap spud green vinyl. This is an amazing album. I love America, and I don't have one single record by America. So this was, I felt, a really incredible surprise. And the recording, the pressing, I'm not an audiophile, like I've said many times before, but it was pretty smooth. You know, once I put that needle on the vinyl, it was just seamless. Just want to show you the inner sleeve there. You got there. Oh, it's like this nice kind of green, tinted green vinyl. It's really nice. So I love this album, and there's one track, it's Sister Golden Hair in Spanish, and I'd never heard that before. I think the only thing, if there was any kind of niggle for me with this LP, is that there are like two spots where there are quite long pauses, and I felt that that could have been tightened up a bit. But then again, you know, on the other hand, you know, maybe it's staying true to the actual session recordings. You know, you will have pauses in between takes and whatnot. So this was a real surprise for me, and it was heavily discounted because this was a 2022 RSD release. Second LP I saw in the box was Santana's Splendiferous LP. This was a Record Store Day release last year. It's a double LP. I love Carlos Santana, but I have to say I didn't quite like his some of his albums in the mid 80s. It just I just was not keen on it. I didn't like the sound. But this was my 2022 Record Store Day purchased in 2023. That was surprise number 3 for me. And then it just continues to be unbelievable. This is a 2020 Record Store Day release. It's Jazz from the Penthouse, the Jack Wilson Quartet featuring Roy Ayers. I love Roy Ayers. So I found this in the box. It was heavily discounted as well. You know, it's a double LP in a blue vinyl, and it was quite extraordinary. And that was surprise number 4. It's METROLAND. I love this movie. It's great. The film came out in 1997, and Mark Knopfler did the soundtrack. So that's the back. It's got all the wonderful songs on here, and features Django Reinhardt. I love Django Reinhardt. And then the Stranglers with Peaches on here. And then you have Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing, Hot Chocolate, Elvis Costello's Allison. I mean, it's like hit after hit. Oh, and you also have Francois Hardy. So it's wonderful. And I think, you know, Mark Knopfler, he is such an amazing film composer. And he did like Local Hero, and he did Last Exit to Brooklyn, and you know, that was in the 1980s. And then he did, you know, he did so many fantastic soundtracks, and to me he's up there with Danny Elfman, former lead singer songwriter for Oingo Boingo, you know, the new wave group in the 1980s. Anyway, he's a very eminent soundtrack composer as well. He did Edward Scissorhands. I know those two, along with like Ryuichi Sakamoto, you know, he did a lot of soundtracks in the 1980s and 90s. 2000s. So this was my 5th surprise reverse Record Store Day purchase. So this was a RSD release in 2020, along with the Jack Wilson Quartet featuring Roy Ayers. And again, I was so shocked to see this. And you know, I just felt like I hit the lottery, and I felt so happy that I actually wanted to go to the corner shop and buy some Euro Million tickets or something, or a lucky dip ticket. So I was really happy, and I just feel that sometimes when things align the way they do, I sometimes I do feel like there's something out there like smiling down at you, right? I hope you enjoyed this video and my reverse Record Store Day experience. Thanks for joining me.